Is Paul George's basketball career done?
I'm told Paul George suffered the injury during an on-court workout last week, and the decision was made to undergo arthroscopic surgery.
Look, while everyone's making excuses, the numbers don't lie. This guy has missed most matchups in 5 of his last 6 seasons, just had another knee surgery at 35, and is scoring like it's 2015 again, with only 16.2 points per game, despite getting paid $212 million. The big three in Philadelphia, they played 15 games together and still sucked, going 24-58. Learning how superstars crash and burn can help you make smarter decisions in your own life and work. Stick around as we break down why George might be hanging up his sneakers soon. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this video. Paul George's body has been sending SOS signals for years, and we've finally reached the breaking point. 5 of his last 6 seasons with under 60 games played. That's not a coincidence. That's a pattern screaming for attention.
Paul George suffering a serious lower leg injury.
From the bone-chilling 2014 compound leg fracture that made us all look away to the recent laundry list of knee, groin, and shoulder setbacks, his medical history reads like a cautionary tale. The latest arthroscopic knee surgery, just another chapter in a decade-long battle between elite talent and failing biology. His availability rate has plummeted below 70% in recent years, turning him from a reliable superstar into a part-time player fighting father time. His breakdown reports now get more attention than his highlight reels.
Some exciting news. The Philadelphia 76ers have also signed 9-time All-Star Paul George to a 4-year deal, left the team and signed a $212 million max.
The Philadelphia 76ers didn't just sign Paul George, they bet their entire future on him with a staggering $212 million 4-year deal. What did they get in return? A part-time player who showed up for 41 games and delivered his worst statistical season since Barack Obama was president. The big three with Embiid and Maxey, they played together for 15 games total. I've seen summer league teammates develop better chemistry. The Sixers are now staring at $51.6 million owed next season to a player who spent more time in the training room than on the court. Their championship dreams turned into a salary cap nightmare, and George's inability to stay healthy has left them wondering if they made the worst investment in franchise history. Give the Los Angeles Clippers front office a standing ovation because they just pulled off the basketball equivalent of Neo dodging bullets in the Matrix. When George demanded a 3-year, $150 million extension with a no-trade clause, they said absolutely not, and watched him become Philadelphia's problem instead. While the Sixers are drowning in buyer's remorse, the Clippers are probably sending thank you cards to their own front office. They saw an aging star whose best days were behind him and chose financial flexibility over nostalgia. Sometimes the smartest move is the one you don't make, and this decision looks more brilliant with each Paul George setback report. They dodged a franchise-crippling mistake by trusting their instincts over sentiment. Remember the Paul George who used to terrorize defenders with that silky smooth first step and deadly pull-up jumper? That guy has left the building, and what remains is a shadow of former greatness. At 35 years old, he's become the basketball equivalent of a luxury car with 200,000 miles. Still looks good from a distance, but don't expect it to perform like it used to. His explosiveness has evaporated, his lateral quickness is gone, and defenders now play him like he's carrying a refrigerator on his back. The athletic decline isn't gradual anymore. It's a cliff, and George just went over the edge. What used to be effortless now looks labored, and that's the cruel reality of aging in professional sports. Let's talk numbers, because they're absolutely brutal. 16.2 points per game from a max contract player is like getting a participation trophy when you paid for first place. His free throw attempts dropped to 2.4 per game, the lowest since his second NBA season, meaning he literally can't get to the rim anymore. 3 30-point outings in 41 appearances, his field goal percentage, 3-point shooting, and efficiency ratings all cratered simultaneously. These aren't just bad stats, they're retirement home numbers from someone who's supposed to be a franchise cornerstone. The numbers don't lie, and they're painting a picture of a player whose prime is firmly in the rearview mirror. Here's what nobody talks about enough. Paul George's mental state is cracking under the pressure. He admitted this season brought a ton of stuff going on, from adjusting to Philadelphia's toxic environment to watching wildfires threaten his home. The guy had to pause his successful podcast just to focus on basketball, which tells you how overwhelmed he was feeling. When you're making generational wealth but can't find peace of mind, something's fundamentally broken. The combination of physical pain, public criticism, and personal stress has created a perfect storm that's destroying him from the inside out. Mental fatigue is just as career-ending as physical injuries, and George is battling both simultaneously while trying to justify a massive contract. Paul George's summer knee surgery should terrify every NBA executive who's ever considered signing an aging star. This wasn't maintenance after a deep playoff run. This was emergency repair work after a season where he looked cooked. At 35, your frame doesn't heal like it used to, recovery windows stretch longer, and every procedure carries career-ending risk. The fact that he needed surgery after playing so few appearances and looking so diminished tells you his frame is actively rebelling against professional basketball. When arthroscopic procedures become routine, retirement conversations usually follow. The rehabilitation process at his age isn't just about getting back on the court. The Paul George, Joel Embiid, Tyrese Maxey trio was supposed to terrorize the Eastern Conference and challenge for championships. Instead, they delivered one of the most disappointing seasons in recent memory, finishing 24-58 and missing the playoffs entirely. Coach Nick Nurse spent more time managing injuries than developing chemistry, and the few contests they played together felt more like strangers sharing an elevator than a cohesive unit. The championship window didn't just close, it slammed shut so hard it broke the hinges, and George's declining health was the key reason why. When Paul George opted out to test free agency, he probably expected a bidding war. Instead, he got the basketball equivalent of tumbleweeds. Teams looked at his setback history, recent production, and age, then quietly removed their phone numbers from his contacts. Even championship contenders passed on him, which should have been the first sign that his market value had completely evaporated. The league collectively decided that Paul George was yesterday's news, and no amount of past accomplishments could change that perception. Several teams reportedly weren't even interested in meeting with him, treating him like damaged goods rather than a 9-time All-Star. The market spoke, and it was saying goodbye to the Paul George we once knew. This is the hardest part about Paul George's current situation, watching genuine greatness fade away in real time. 9 All-Star selections, elite two-way dominance, clutch performances that made us believe in magic. All of it feels like ancient history now. His legacy will forever be defined by what if he stayed healthy rather than championship parades or finals MVPs. At 35, with a conditioning that's actively working against him, we're probably witnessing the final pages of his basketball story. The cruel irony is that his talent level could still contribute to a championship team, but his body simply won't cooperate long enough to make it happen. And honestly, it's breaking our hearts to see such a gifted player's legacy potentially ending not with celebration, but with medical timeouts and statistical decline. Alright, let's wrap this up. Paul George's career is basically done, and honestly, we all saw it coming. The guy went from superstar to part-time player real quick, missing most games for 5 straight seasons, getting that huge $212 million paycheck, but only showing up for 41 contests of pretty bad basketball. His body gave up on him, and now even good teams won't touch him. But here's what I'm curious about. Which superstar do you think is going to crash and burn next, just like Paul George did? Let me know what you think in the comments, and smash that like button, subscribe, and share this with your basketball friends.